Ready? Call the meeting to order. Ask everybody to please stand for the prayer led by firefighter Keith Jurdy, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sorry, we had to call. You calling me? Or?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for allowing us this day of life. Thank you for the beautiful weather that we have. Lord, we just Lord, I want to lift up the surrounding communities to you that were affected by these tornadoes, Lord. Lord, just pray that you'll just bless them and allow them to have means to rebuild. Lord, we especially lift up the families that lost loved ones, Lord, that we just pray that you would cover them through this time, Lord. Just surround them with people, comfort them, and carry them through this, Lord, this time. Lord, we just lift up this meeting to you. We pray for guidance and wisdom for our city leaders, Lord. Just pray that you'll just bless this time. And Lord, we just ask that Lord, you would provide guidance and wisdom carrying on to 2024 as well, Lord. Lord, we thank you for all that you do for us. We especially thank you for the love, hope, and the victory that we have in Christ Jesus. And Lord, I pray all things in his name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Corbett.
Here.
Alderman Matthews.
Here.
Alderman Silver. Alderman Spicer.
Here.
Alderman Wall.
Here. Need to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need to approve the minutes from the November 16th study session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome all of our visitors tonight. Thank you for coming. We've got a proclamation to give tonight. Ms. Shady Keith, you want to step up? Shaylee won our Mayor of the Day contest, so we'll read through the proclamation. Whereas the City White House conducted a Mayor for the Day contest during the month of November 2023, asking 10 years old and under citizens to submit a video about their favorite Christmas movie. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith submitted a video for the contest and was chosen by city staff to win the Mayor for the Day contest. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith is a 7-year-old that loves to read, and I've heard read to the 7th grade reading level, by the way, which is pretty impressive, play sports, and take musical theater lessons. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith is an incredible reader who spends most of her free time reading the Wings of Fire series. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith plays basketball for the City of White House and soccer for the White House Youth Soccer. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith takes her musical theater lessons at 918 Dance Studio. And whereas Ms. Shaylee Keith will go down as the 3rd ever Mayor of the Day contest winner for the City of White House. Now therefore I, John Corbett, as Mayor of the City of White House, and on behalf of the entire Board of Mayor and Aldermen, do hereby recognize Ms. Shaylee Keith as the 2023 Mayor of the Day for December 2nd, 2023. In witness hereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of White House to be affixed on this 2nd day of December of 2023. I realize it's not the 2nd, but we rained out, so we're redoing it. So, congratulations, Shaylee. You want to open it up and do a picture? Write down. Thank you. You're welcome. Congratulations. All right, we have a public comment section tonight. Nobody has signed up to speak, so we'll move on to public hearings. Ordinance 23-19, an ordinance deleting the Municipal Code Title 2, Chapter 3, Cemetery Board of Trustees. Open the public hearing. Nobody signed up to speak, so we'll close it. Move to communication. Alderman Wall.
A couple things. First of all, I'd like to commend Kevin and the the Parks Department for the parade last Saturday. Everybody did a wonderful job. You know, can never speak too highly of those people, so what they've done. So, secondly, Andy, gonna miss you, buddy. So, you've done well for the city. We commend you on everything that you've done, and we wish you well in your endeavors going forward.
Thanks, sir.
Alderman Spicer.
I don't have anything.
Alderman Matthews.
I also would like to reiterate the parade. What a good job our Parks Department did working on that. Derek also did a lot of work with it in the Chamber of Commerce. I personally enjoyed walking and handing out the candy to the kids. I think that was really neat. We had a good time. And Andy, again, you've done a tremendous job for the city, stepping up into the public, the Director of Public Services role, and we will miss you.
Thank you.
I agree. Andy, disappointed, but I understand why, and we wish you guys the best, and we'll definitely miss you.
I appreciate it.
City Attorney.
I don't have anything.
City Administrator.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I just wanted to let you know that Phase 3 of the Southern Force Main collection line is complete. Phase 4, which will run the north side of Sage Road between Cardinal Point and US 31W, will be out to bid soon. This phase is directly reimbursable from a $1.3 million state grant. We are waiting for bid specifications to be approved by TDEC. Once they make that approval, we can get going on the bidding process. Also, we're still in the process of obtaining the needed right-of-ways to start the project, which there's an item on the agenda for that tonight. Sage Road widening from Madeline to Cardinal Point is progressing well. CEMC had to come out and remove 3 poles that were in our right-of-way on the west side of the road. They wanted to charge Rogers Group $20,000, which of course would then reflect back to the city paying that. So Jason Reynolds, our city engineer, he contacted CEMC and pointed out that our city contract with CEMC requires them to move utilities out of our right-of-way when requested by us. So CEMC did respond back favorably and has been in the process of moving them this week at no cost to us or Rogers Group. So that was pretty good on Jason's part getting on that. We had our monthly update meeting for the new wastewater treatment plant today, and we're like 900-something days into the project. We are over 90% built, and we have substantial completion. It's still scheduled for February 20th, 2024. And if you drove in, you hope you're excited as we are, but we're excited to see the steel framing of the new recreation center going up this past 2 weeks. It's been really exciting to be able to start looking at, okay, well, this is going to be the upstairs gym halfway, this is where the kids area is going to be, and the wellness center. It's pretty cool. So we're building out the one side. They're still working on the retaining walls on the far side, and then once they get those complete, they'll be putting steel beams on the other side. So that's really all I have, Mayor. Thanks. This is my report.
Thank you. Need to acknowledge our reports. Do I have a motion?
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of the following resolutions. Resolution 23-15, a resolution amending the schedule of permit and development fees for multiple departments. Got a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Second.
All right. So just
Hang on. So this is adding to our fee schedule. When when public services goes out to inspect, we hadn't been charging a fee to inspect the bonds, and we then kind of formalized the process and realized that we on the sheet we got the cart before the horse, and we got a check for $1,500 and had to kind of reconcile where it came from and realized we didn't have it in our fee schedule. So this just amends that fee schedule.
any discussion? Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of the following ordinances. Ordinance 23-19, an ordinance deleting the Municipal Code Title II, Chapter 3, Cemetery Board of Trustees, second reading. I think we discussed this last time. Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right. Roll call.
Alderman Matthews.
Aye.
Alderman Spicer.
Aye.
Alderman Wall.
Aye.
Mayor Corbett.
Aye. Ordinance 23-20, an ordinance amending the Municipal Code Title 8, Chapter 1, Intoxication Liquors, Section 8-103, and Chapter 2, Beer, Sections 8-207 and 8-208. First reading.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Second.
All right.
I'll take this, Mayor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We had the possibility of a restaurant that would come in from Springfield. They have a brewing company where they mainly sell obviously craft beer, that type of thing, and then they do have some food to eat there. But they were concerned that our ordinance would have prevented them being able to get a permit because of the way our ordinance is structured. And so last time we restructured our ordinance, I think it was back in 2014, and we had a major revision when we did the packaged liquor and stuff. So I went through and reviewed the laws on it, looked at the ABC website, looked at their protocols, how they've set things up, and their new format that they have. They've changed their format considerably. They've added where you can have no tax authorized or imposed by the section for charitable, nonprofit, legal organizations. So I wanted to make sure that was added in there. They wanted to make sure that we follow the city shall not issue a permit unless the applicant has been a citizen or lawful resident of the United States for not less than a year immediately preceding. And so that was an addition that we needed to add in. And then I started looking at their classes of permit. We've had 4 in the past, but the one that was going to hurt this was the number of their sales to sales from beer to the food ratio. And what I've seen the state did, they have divided theirs up. So we now so instead of just having all on premises, I have a restaurant and one that has over the seating capacity of at least 48 tables in there. More than 50% of gross revenue of the restaurant is generated from serving meals. So that would cover our restaurant one. Then there's another one that they've come up with, an on-premises limited service restaurant permit to any person or legal organization engaged in the operation of a restaurant. When you look at that one, it can be under 50% of food sales. However, they did throw a couple of other caveats in there where the business will comply with the requirements that from the state code that prohibits sexual or pornographic conduct. Obviously, there's no sleeping accommodations that aren't allowed to be there. And they have to have a security action plan that would provide for public safety. I've looked at what those can be. They're really not that difficult, but making sure that they have a way of ingress and egress out of there if there was a problem inside, and how they would handle calling the police and that type of thing for any situations that come up. And pretty much kept that. We already had a special occasion permit that was allowable, and this year just kind of breaks it out a little bit more in detail. Then a festival permit, which we didn't have, so I thought I might as well throw that in there because we have Americana every year. That would allow a for-profit business. The special occasion permit is for nonprofits, and the festival permit is for for-profit business or third party that they could possibly set something up. But there's limitations on what they have to do. They have to have it sectioned off, and they have to have their servers have to be licensed to be able to do that. And so there has some little extra things in there. Hotel motel permit. We already have one hotel that has beer in it, but this is kind of this is something for if a hotel comes in and they have a restaurant inside it, that they would be able to do that. And so then there's a caterer permit to allow them to use it, and then a golf course permit, which we already had. They didn't really change much on that at all. It was pretty much the same as it was. So with those extra ones, Derek and I've talked about it. We're going to redo the application that people have to fill out to more help me align with this year. I think this is going to be more accommodating, and it wouldn't hinder someone that wants to have like a craft beer place inside the city. So that's all I have, Mayor. If there's any questions on it.
No, I think this is going to be if we can get them landed, it'll be a nice addition to cities.
I understand, exempting charitable and nonprofit, but why political organizations?
Okay.
Why should we exempt political organizations?
That's what the state law is.
Is that state law?
Yeah, that's right out of the state law.
Okay. And I noticed too that it's just a verbiage issue. I mean, everybody's got to have ABC to serve.
Right.
But the only one in here that's listed is the festival permit.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should have that verbiage throughout.
I think we.
I mean, it doesn't.
We do discuss it. There's other parts of the ordinance. This is not the full ordinance. There are other parts of the beer ordinance that does explain that about being licensed. I didn't bring it.
I mean, everybody has to, but I just this verbiage. Yeah. The only one they have was the festival, and then of course the.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to reiterate it again when I looked at their format online.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. They all have to.
Yeah.
If they're going to be serving beer, they have to be trained.
This is on the application. So they have to be ABC certified. Is that listed on the application?
Derek, do you remember on the application if that requires it?
Say that again.
that they have to have the ABC license. I know we talk about it when we're in our beer board meetings.
For liquor, you're talking about for liquor?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Any other
And the
discussion?
permit holder, usually we do a background check on them
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of follow-up there.
Any other discussion? Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, purchasing, to approve or reject the proposal from Regions Bank and allow City Administrator Gerald Herman to enter into an agreement for banking services. The Finance Director recommends approval.
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Tracy?
I understand this is a pretty lengthy proposal.
Yeah.
Are there any specific questions first?
The difference in interest rate, you mentioned that Regions was higher than Farmers. What's the difference?
The difference is Farmers gives us 5 basis points. Regions is guaranteeing 2%, which is 200 basis points.
Okay.
And then I think it's the Fed rate minus 50 basis points. The earnings credit rate is I'm still trying to grasp that completely. If you want, I have Meredith and.
They should have a listed earnings credit interest rate. Both financial institutions should list that. It should be
Yes.
actually be a published rate that we should know.
Yes, but Farmers doesn't give us any of that information. It's just a strict 5 basis points. So that's a significant interest difference between the two as far as earnings. That's obviously a big benefit that we would have with them. There's other benefits too that I felt like there were more important benefits than that, even though that is an important one. I feel like a positive pay for our disbursements and security for those checks that we send out. Currently, we don't have that, and Farmers has indicated that they have no intention of us ever having access to that.
Can you remind us what that is again?
Sure. That's so we issue accounts payable checks once a week. Let's just say I think probably typically 50 checks a week or something like that, maybe a little more, a little less. When our accounts payable clerk issues those checks, we'll generate a file. The file has check information on the file that's basically check number, the dollar amount, and who the payee is on the check. If we give that check to the bank, and if somebody brings a check up there that at least those three pieces of information don't match the file, it automatically is going to reject the check. It's not going to let it go through.
It's a protection against fraud.
Okay.
How many checks have we had that have been fraudulent over the last 4-year contract?
Over the last 4-year contract? Recently, I believe we had 5, and it cost Farmers Bank about $10,000. Even before that, we've had electronic payments come through that we've had to catch on our statement, and we had to tell them, this isn't us, we've got to reject that. We've had somebody try to pay their Amex bill with our account information. It's a lot. I just was curious today. I thought, a lot of people don't know how many transactions we do. So I looked at our bank statements. I had, and Marcy helped me with this. We average about 314 debits a month and about 349 credits a month, and that is equivalent to $3.2 million in debits a month and $3.5 million in credits a month, and that's a month. So we exceed the needs of what a small business would have, most small businesses anyway, and that's basically, I feel like, what Farmers offers is small business banking that doesn't do that type of volume, and they don't meet our needs anymore. They did for several years, and they've worked with us for several years, and I believe that it was beneficial for them also. I feel like they've profited from us, so it worked both ways. It just isn't working anymore though.
Back to the interest, if you don't know, it's okay. I just was curious. Do you have any idea, like how much that would mean to us dollar-wise if we,
So the earnings credit's not gonna give us any money, it's gonna take money off of the services that they provide us,
Okay.
off the fee structure. If it's a straight interest-bearing account, that's really what we should be concerned about. But which of those accounts
Yes,
are
I
straight
can help you right here,
interest-bearing?
behind you.
I
Yeah.
can get, Meredith or Angela.
okay, yeah. Yep.
I got a quick question first. Was there any particular reason why we did not get the farmer's bid in here?
Yeah, we usually only put in the proposal that we're recommending. That's our normal process.
Because I would like to see that, because, you know,
Yeah.
fees involved. You know, we're talking about a local bank that's got a lot invested in this town versus a corporate bank that, you
Right.
know.
If you wanna see their fees involved, it literally is zero.
I have it right here.
It's not, they.
Farmers hasn't charged us any fees?
They don't charge us fees, but in exchange for 5 basis points interest, that's where their fees are in. They're making money off
Built
of
in there, yeah.
not giving us interest.
Plus, the law changed a few years ago that required cities to reach out to the banks in their community, because we've had the same one for, I don't know, decades probably, since many years. And so then we did redo it a few years ago. We recommended Regions at that time. We thought that would have been a better fit, but the board overruled us as in the memo states, 3-1. And so here we are again. It was time to review them again. So we reached out. These are the two banks that said that they would be willing to send in proposals, and you know, we were hoping more. We certainly have more than 2 banks in our city, but we only were able to get 2. So I'll let them go ahead.
I can personally say that on my tabulation, I deducted points because they weren't transparent, because it was specifically in the proposal specs that they provide us the cost. That's not transparency. So I deducted points for that. It's not enough to make it, you know, that significant of a difference as far as comparing one proposal to the next, and I was just one vote in that committee, but I did deduct points for that.
Did we have any particular issues with farmers?
The security issues, yes.
Security issues, the positive pay, that was really important.
Did we lose any money? Did they
No,
get
we
it?
didn't.
They gave us they covered it all.
They covered it, yes.
Right.
But we will lose, we are gonna most likely have an audit finding because of that.
Because of that, that's going to hurt us with our certification for next year, possibly.
And we're gonna, the award, the GFOA award that we won, we're not gonna be eligible for that because of that. So it's, I mean, ultimately, I can only do as good a job as the resources that I have to work with. That, and the department, the city, everybody can only do as good a job as what we have to work with. Farmers just doesn't work anymore for us.
I've dealt with the big banks and their fees, and I never have liked them. I mean,
I understand that concern.
I mean, when they start charging you deposit cash, there's a problem, and they all do it. So I'm not a fan of the big banks, but you know, I have to do what's best for the city too. So, you know, that's my personal opinion. But you know, so I guess we can carry on with it.
I'd like to hear from the ladies.
Yeah, hear from them. So.
Come on up, ladies. Thank you.
This is Angela and Meredith.
I'm the Treasury Management Officer for Regions Bank in Nashville. I'm a commercial banker at Regions Bank and reside here in Robertson County. So we propose, just to kind of dive in, a 2% fixed ECR earnings credit rate. The compensating balance for that to cover all fees is approximately $812,000. And then our interest rate is variable. Fed funds minus 50 basis points, so it's 5% right now. Fed didn't move rates this week. So the remaining balance, I think the city keeps about $2.5 to $3 million on deposit outside or at the bank versus LGIP. So we would pay interest of 5% on $1.9 million, and that is interest earned of over $8,000 a month versus 5 basis points. So you're not paying the
$a few $100
fees.
a month.
Right, yeah, so there's no fees, the balances would cover the fees, and then the additional funds would earn you the interest, which.
So the 2%, is that your standard earnings credit, or are you increasing it for us?
Our standard earnings credit rate is 20 basis points. And that also includes the positive pay that, was Jason's stuff, and then ACH alert, where it protects your accounts from
Right,
any
so the
electronic.
treasury management system that you provide has the ability to go in and approve ACHs on a daily basis, correct?
Correct, yes.
In and
Anything
out.
that's unauthorized.
In and out,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, so fraud protection is what we preach now, no matter the size of client. Positive pay is just a standard,
And do
yeah,
you
sure
offer
that if you-
divvy and things like that?
I'm sorry?
Do you offer divvy for them to have cards and things for the account? Do you know what divvy is?
Don't know what divvy is.
That's okay.
I don't know, we were at the TGFOA conference a couple months ago, and Regions Bank presented on fraud protection, so we, highly encourage it. Again, a staff of few can only detect so many bad checks. Farmers is not obligated, any bank is not obligated to, cover the fraudulent check.
Right.
Yes. Any other questions?
Stinker.
Sorry, I don't have any
No,
more.
It's great feedback.
So this statement in here, is this based on real numbers and what we do?
Yes.
Are you talking about the pro forma statement?
Yeah,
Those are based on estimated numbers.
estimated numbers, so they're okay, so they're just not,
But
Sure.
you took them from your everyday operations, like a month?
Yes.
Yeah.
how many checks you say we write a month?
314 is the average per month, and that includes checks, payrolls, direct deposits, ACHs for health insurance, utility bills that we pay.
And I can imagine that we're depositing cash. Very rarely are we depositing
Every
actual
day.
cash.
Every day.
Every
Actual
day.
cash, where's that cash coming from?
From customers paying their bills, paying tickets.
We take cash for those things.
Was it
Yeah.
that, I saw $216,000 for the last 12 months? Is that about right?
The cash.
Cash?
That's probably close. I mean, I don't know what the number is on that. The last time I figured it, the last time we did this, that specifically was the same question. You would assume that we don't take that much cash, but I figured it up, and it was about $1,500 a day in cash is what we're averaging.
I think for that service, we offered remote cash capture, so it's kind of a reverse ATM. You know, a safe in his office, Loomis will come, or you feed your cash into it every day, you get instant credit in your account, so you're earning the interest.
And
That's
the
a good
earnings
point to
credit,
make. I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, the earnings credit's gonna cover Loomis coming and the.
Loomis, we do, no. Yeah, Loomis is separate, which you already paid, I believe you already
Yes.
paid Loomis to come and pick up your deposits
Yeah.
daily anyway. So this would reduce Loomis.
The Loomis fee,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Loomis tried to get us to do that before,
yeah.
regardless of regions, and we're still not sure about exactly that because you're splitting a batch. We have cashiers who have a batch, and their batch includes checks and cash. Well, when you deposit cash one way and checks another way, then you've got to split the batch, and you have to work through the bank reconciliation to try to figure that out on a daily basis. And we're doing reconciliations on a weekly basis. So, I mean, that's a task that we're hoping to help that task out.
Is there any reason we still write that many checks and why it's not electronic for the rest of the
Either way, it's the same.
What about additional workload for the positive pays? Is there any additional workload for the people to enter the transactions into the system?
Yes, sir, there will be a little bit, and there'll be an implementation with that. We'll have help with that on the software side. As far as the number of checks, we actually discussed that also, possibly changing we have a purchase card now. Apparently you can get rewards, just like cash rewards for a personal credit card, and that's what that is. It's a business commercial credit card, basically. We can get rewards back if our vendors will accept payment from the purchase card. If we change to that, Regions had mentioned that also, and that would reduce the number of checks that we write. so we could help that situation there, plus earn money on the money that we're paying.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing good about the U.S. Postal Service anymore. I mean, with the fraud involved.
We recommend daily to write as little checks
Yeah.
as possible. So we'll do a vendor match, we'll move things to ACH or card. We try to move away from checks as much as possible.
Because I was looking at the analysis, it looks that we're paying, ACH would be 18 cents an item, and you're 23 cents an item on a check. Once you factor in the rest, then on top of whatever other fees you've got for the, the pay system, so.
It costs more to write checks, actually,
Oh,
and
yeah.
process checks. Checks are the most expensive, form of payment.
So positive pay will not, my understanding, it will not catch a fraudulent check if they change the name on the check. So if they wash
We
that.
have that payee name verification, so that is an item that we will track as well.
I assume you can upload a CSV file of the transaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is gonna help you with the uploading process of those checks.
So if interest rates go down, is the earnings credit rate gonna go down?
The earnings credit rate is fixed for
It's
the
fixed for the length of the contract.
Now your interest rate
Yeah, interest
will.
on the other, yeah.
And some of these fees, are they a one-time setup fee that's on the pro forma, correct? Like the wire setup fee, the ACH setup fee, are those one-time fees?
Yes, those are one-time fees.
Yeah, so we won't see that every single month,
Right.
that's a one-time fee.
Right. If you look up at the top of in the rectangle, you've got an estimated one-time fee.
Okay. I think I'm just trying to point it out for my counterparts, more or less.
Appreciate that.
What?
I'm trying to point it out for you, Mike.
Okay. Good discussion. Any other discussion?
Have we estimated the cost of changing banks?
The cost beyond what's on the pro forma, I assume that's what you're asking?
What it's gonna cost the city to change banks?
There should be a change.
Well, I mean, if you still have to write checks,
I mean, we're gonna have to buy checks, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking.
All of your employees who get paid, all that information's gonna have to be sent.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I understand.
There's a lot of work on the front end for that.
There's a lot of work to do this complete. I don't expect this to be completed for at least a year.
Okay. All right.
We provide an implementation timeline, and we will.
You'll help with the transition, and are you helping with the orders of checks and the cost of that?
Any other discussion?
Thank you.
For a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, motion carries. To approve or reject City Administrator Gerald Herman to enter into an agreement with Wold HFR Design for design services of renovating Fire Station Number 1. The Fire Chief recommends approval.
Motion to
All
discuss.
right, second?
So basically, this is a plan to do a major renovation in addition to Fire Station 1 that's in front of the city park. As we've been growing as a department, we're running out of space. We need a department or a station that we can grow our staff into, and when the timing is right, split that staff and go to a third station. This plan would also get our ladder truck in the middle of town, which is greatly needed for ISO rating. It would be basically tying the building together with a main corridor. It's basically 4 sections right now, and this main corridor would allow you to get from one section to the other without going through another section. It would also increase the number of bunk rooms we would have, so we would be up to 12 bunk rooms from 5. It would give a larger training area for the firefighters. Trying to think what else it would do.
You mean the ladder truck?
Yeah, I mentioned the ladder truck.
Currently, how many people do you have
Three.
that are there during
We
shift?
have 3.
Okay.
Ideally, we would like to have 2 crews up there, and we just don't have the space for it.
EMS is there.
EMS is there, they have 2 crew. We're looking for a place to put a second ambulance. If we can make this happen, that'd be great. That station runs nearly 65% of the calls for service in the city. So a lot of times, they'll be on a call, and we'll get another call, and the other station must come from the south end of town, all the way to the town.
So is there a limit set on what the cost could be on this, Gerald?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to let Steve Griffin from the architect explain this. We're just trying to get together a scope of work. And we have money set aside for a possible buying land for a third station, but the chief and his assistant came to me and proposed this idea to me, and I thought this was probably a really good idea because one of the things that hurt us on the ISO was our engine being in the wrong place in the city. It needed to be more centralized. And these folks have done fire halls in the past, so they've got a lot of experience in that. So I'll just kind of let you explain your process.
Right now we have 2 under construction, Mount Juliet and Hendersonville Fire Hall. We toured the facility, and it's pretty chopped up. I mean, you've got a lot of small spaces that are inefficient as far as operations go. Expanding the apparatus bay where he can get his ladder truck in there is pretty important. The real challenge is trying to get a turning radius into that bay, but we have a good civil engineer who's done a lot of fire halls, and we've already looked at that. What we propose to do is, what we need to do is come back up here and do an as-built survey of the existing building. As-built dimensions, and look at HVAC, everything in the building. Then sit down with the chief and his staff and start programming what they want to put in the building. Like, they got 8 bunks. We know what size of bunk, what the space would require, so we start plugging that into the existing square footage. It's kind of like master planning, because essentially what we're going to do is ultimately gut the whole inside. I mean, because it's not efficient at all, and make it more efficient and more operationally a better facility for the staff and for the citizens of White House.
And from your experience, what do you think something like that could possibly cost just to get the scope? Depending on the size of it.
You always do this to me.
Yes, sir.
I have to say, I really don't have any idea.
Okay.
But if once we establish a budget, our fee will convert to a lump sum,
Right.
and we'll work within that budget. You'll approve the budget that we come up with, and if you have questions about it, or you think it's too high, we'll be glad to sit down with you and go over the actual cost once we get the scope of work determined. That's what we're in the process of doing, is determine the scope of work.
Hopefully we can get some maybe numbers for us before we finish out the budget year, as we go through this budget process.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
But it's probably one of the more inefficient fire halls I've seen. I think it'll be that one. Any questions?
I know you got the 2023 hour reserve scheduled here. Is that gonna change much for 24?
No.
Okay.
That's locked in.
I know you've got a side note here, it could change on a semi-annual basis.
I'm not gonna change it.
Not gonna change it, okay.
Any other discussion? Got a motion?
How old is that building?
Some piece together, so.
Yeah,
It's been there since I was here, or since I was a kid.
Oh, no, it's
What our living quarters is right now is an addition, and it was originally built as truck bays.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Ready to get started?
Right, to approve or reject City Administrator Gerald Herman to sign task order number 5 and number 6 with Jacobs Engineering for additional engineering services for the wastewater treatment expansion project in a total amount of $205,000. Public Services Director recommends approval. Discuss.
Motion to discuss.
All right.
Second.
Yeah, I sent an email yesterday to kind of give you guys an update of what was going on. Let's just hit some of the highlights since you guys already read it. So Dustin Callahan, he's our resident PM on site from Jacobs Engineering. Between March and June of 25th of this year, he actually cut back half his time to try to save the city some money, which they did. Obviously, with the lead time with the switchgear, so it's supposed to come in, was it August? I'm sorry, yeah, when was it? Yeah, it was December of 2023. Actually, it was delivered August. I'm sorry, December of 2022. I had that wrong, and it came in August of 2023. Like I said, some of his duties are SRF documentation, the RFI, request for information, meeting with Jerry, myself, and the contractor. Again, it's not the fault of the city or Jacobs. It was just, the lead times that killed us on this deal. I did ask for contingency. That's what the task order number 6 is, and that's for whoever takes my spot, and at the end of when the project's over with, in case there are any type of issues, that they could actually have like a maintenance contract at the end. So if something happens with process control or something, they kind of go pick up the phone and call Jacobs and help them out. So that second part isn't technically for the remainder of the project. That's just an extension at the end for like a maintenance contract. So it pays $147,000 to finish the project.
So thank you for sending that email and explaining it, and also sending the attachments. The rate, I think, is acceptable. The rates are actually lower than the previous gentleman that was speaking. And I think 950 hours is what he's going to budget for. So right at that, and there is a rate increase, I think, from 23 to 24.
And I know how much Dustin makes, so when I read that number, that's actually, I thought that was a little low personally.
Yeah.
So I know they're not taking 6 cleaners.
Okay.
I would have said something otherwise.
Yeah. It's, and I think looking at that, of course, supply chain, it was out of your control, out of Jacob's control, and out of the contractor's control.
And we did the best we could cutting back.
Yeah. Part of the world we're living in now.
Yep.
All right. Any other discussion? Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. To approve or reject City Administrator Gerald Herman to enter into an agreement with Kimley Horn to update land development regulations in the total amount of $160,000. Planning and Codes Director recommends approval.
Motion to discuss.
All right.
Second.
All right, please.
One of the things we said we needed done was having our land development regulations updated. That included subdivision regs, the commercial design standards, and our zoning ordinance. When I did this proposal, when I met with the board requesting this to be in the CIP, I was just going to use our Sean Fowler, our fellow that's coming in for the next 6 months to update the zoning ordinance. As I put this together and sent out to our colleagues after we had approved the budget, my colleagues, which include planners around the area, recommended I include the zoning ordinance when I sent the RFP out. So that additional cost includes that zoning ordinance simultaneously being updated with the sub-regs and commercial design standards. I'll answer any questions you have regarding why we chose Kimley Horn versus the other Camaros that submitted.
Did you speak to any of the cities that have had, I guess, both firms perform?
I reached out to, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, so I saw Berry Hill had, I guess, had their work performed by Kimberly Horn, and then Spring Hill, Tennessee had been, Camaros had done work for them.
I reached out to Spring Hill and not Berry Hill, but Michael Wood in Thompson Station is a good friend of mine, and he actually worked on our comp plan. He's a town planner for Thompson Station who used Kimley Horn, and I trust his opinion. I reached out to the city of Knoxville, several entities, Greer, South Carolina, several entities that used both, that they're referencing here, and I didn't hear any. Only Micah, who used Kimley Horn, that responded to this. So.
Okay, so Knoxville, you didn't hear back from Camaros?
Knoxville, Chattanooga.
You know, Spring Hill used them, and I had actually watched their process before I was brought in office. I watched some of their meetings they posted online through the Champion system, and they did a good job. In the number of cities that they have performed work in, if you look at the documents that they gave us, most of them are up north, and then we have Spring Hill and I think one other city, Knoxville, that's in the south. You're probably familiar with the code here. Did you, in your evaluation, did you see any distinct difference between the two firms?
I just felt like Camaros, which I commend their their staff, they have expertise. I just didn't see it as fitting White House. What we're trying to do, I just didn't, I didn't go off feeling, but I just.
Do you think they're pushing more towards a smart growth plan, which it can translate into basically more density?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know how to say this because I am pro, all things planning, but I'll just leave it at I just didn't feel like it fit White House with what Camaros would have to offer. One of the positives that I see with Kimberly Horn, of course, they have our Parks Master Plan. And in addition, I see that as being a benefit or a plus. And also, this says 160,000, but they're going to, take off about 30,000 for the staff labor that we input. And so I kind of, the difference between Camaros and it would be about 23,000 in difference on the budget. Me being over 55,000, and they were going to, do it over 2 years. So I come back before you next year with the additional cost of that.
The only thing that I saw when I reviewed, I think I reviewed some other cities also that both had done work for. It looks like Camaros, one of the things that's very important to me, not only the technical side that we get that right, but this document is very important to the city, and I want it to be a document that the citizens can read and understand.
Yeah.
So I want it to be presentable in a way that we don't have tables and charts and graphics that
Like a form code.
you can't see and you have to blow it up. And I think Camaros did an excellent job with that in their documents. Kimberly Horn, I bet they have the expertise with guidance from us on making some adjustments to those. But I think that's very important because anybody that wants to go in and look at the code, they should be able to easily go through it. And just looking at how Camaros puts their, I think I looked at some of their design work on how they put their plans together. They intentionally, I looked at the questionnaires they put out, make it for citizens to be able to go through and look at not only developers and staff, and especially us, we're probably going to have to be looking at it quite a bit in the Planning Commission. But I thought...
Yeah, big time there, and what this board's going to have to approve the whole zoning change ordinance. I mean, they're going to make a big revision. We may be adopting a whole new zoning.
Yeah, that's just likely what's going to happen. But I really, I feel like we're in a good place to be able to, with you guys as a resource, Planning Commission and citizens to be involved, to make it ours and make it where White House wants to go.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't something they would be able to modify that in any way we wanted to. So, I mean, it wasn't a huge issue, but I did notice that from work from one firm to the other. In long documents like that they need to be very presentable, especially if they're public-facing documents.
It could be those cities or those municipalities chose to do it that way, to not make it as transparent to their people as we would want it, because that's what we all want here, is to be as transparent as possible with our citizens, but not every city wants to be as upfront as we're trying to be. So it could be a format that we can discuss.
Yeah, for me, I think, with Camaros being out of the city, I mean, they're up in Chicago, and they'd have to be traveling down here. Kimberly Horn's here, and the fact that they're tied to our park, and the fact that they're willing to work with us by having a fellowship. Sean will do quite a bit of work with us, and I was concerned about being over his budgets, but the period of time that they're going to be working on this will carry us into the next year's budget. He has enough to cover this year, any cost that we would get up to, and then we would have to carry over some more money in the next year. But this is pretty important for the city. I think it's
very important.
Very good time to do this.
Yeah. So did you get any references? I mean, you got one reference from?
I got one reference from Kimberly Horn, and then just my personal knowledge of some of the work that they do. I will say, I want to make it our own, and that's my only concern. That's why I'm kind of begging you guys for help to kind of steer that to, we'll make it our, but I mean, they have some expertise on their team, so.
Yep, no question. Any other discussion? Got a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. To approve or reject easements and right-of-way purchase agreements with multiple property owners for the Southern Force Main Phase 4 project in the total amount of $140,000. City Administrator recommends approval.
Motion to discuss.
Yep. Gary?
Yes, sir. This has to do with right-of-ways and easements I've been purchasing along Stage Road. All the years I've been doing purchasing easements and right-of-ways for various projects we've done around the city, I never came across where we had something that was over my spending limit, which is $25,000. So we have three in particular in this along this track on Stage that we're going to be over that. The largest one is $75,000. We're hoping to close next week on that Monday. That took us a while to negotiate that. That's the largest property, the one that has the longest frontage. Also, they had a decorative driveway entrance that was going to be pretty expensive to take that down. He was willing to negotiate just having it removed and not worrying about replacing it as is, because that would have been a real challenge for us because of the way it was built with the stone. So we're doing really well. I think we've got three of them that are completely finished already that we've completed. We have one on here, Optima Trust. I think you have that on your list there. There's two parcels there, and they're small amounts. We just have not been able to have contact with the trust. The owners are not wanting to respond back to us, not returning phone calls, answering emails. So I did hire an appraiser to appraise those two parcels, along with there was another one, Mosley's. The folks there, they wanted an appraisal on their property because they felt like I was offering way too little for what they thought it was worth. The appraisals so far come back on the Optima. It was a little bit under what we were offering, so we're going to be filing a court action for taking in on that. So, but maybe about 45 days, which the timing is going to be important because I've already checked. We're going to be able to once the state approves us to go out to bid, we're going to go ahead and start the bidding process. By the time we get that all wrapped up, we should have these parcels all taken care of. I think Mosley's, once I get their appraisal, they're a little bit delayed on that. We were hoping to have it before Thanksgiving, and they just haven't got it to us yet. But as soon as we get that, I'll have a meeting with the Mosleys. I'm hoping that they'll reconsider their situation and accept what the appraisal comes up with. So, but anyways, for right now, I do have three of them that are over $25,000. We'll be making those as separate check requests through the board. We'll be wiring those to Valerie Soft so she can process.
All right. Discussion? A motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Other business to approve or reject the 2023 Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting calendar. Just 2024?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. So
We're going backwards now.
yeah, we're no, I don't think we need any discussion unless somebody's got some issue with it.
Third Thursday of each month.
Yep.
Yes, same as always.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Other information, we've got the budget calendar in here, you can look at it and I guess if there's any questions, ask. Otherwise, we're adjourned.
Yes.